And then he carries on saying, and shake my head at you, like they're doing. But I would strengthen you with my mouth and comfort my lips, and the comfort of my lips would relieve your grief. That is what I would have expected his friends to be doing to him. But they're doing. Welcome back. In this episode, we're going to be looking at the book of Job, chapter 16. And as usual, I'm going to read and stop where I feel I've got something to say. So, starting from verse 1. Then Job answered and said, so Job in this chapter is responding to his friend Eliphaz that spoke in the previous chapter. So he said, I have heard many such things. In other words, there's nothing you're saying that is new. That's what your other friends have been saying to me ever since you came. Miserable comforters you all are. I think Job is right in getting back at them, describing them this way, because they're supposed to come there to comfort Job, but they're doing something that is very far from being comforting. So, shall words of wind have an end, or what provoke you that you answer? I also could speak as you do if your soul were in my soul's place. In other words, if it was them that was experiencing what he was experiencing, what would he say? Now, Job carried on and said, I could heap up words against you like they've been doing. They could, they've been just using words upon words, description of natural phenomena and things over and over again to try and persuade him that he must have done something wrong. And then he carries on saying, and shake my head at you, like they're doing. But I would strengthen you with my mouth and comfort my lips, and the comfort of my lips would relieve your grief. That is what I would have expected his friends to be doing to him. But they're doing the total opposite. They're not even coming any close to what they should be doing. Instead, they are, just trying to prove Job to be guilty. Even if Job was guilty, so what? God can forgive whatever he would have done. They're not even given that chance, to encourage him that, after all, first comfort him, even if you're going to point to his sins. But they just came and started lampooning on him. Now, though I speak, my grief is not relieved. And if I remain silent, how am I at ease? But now he has worn me out. You have made desolate all my company. Because yes, he does have company, but they're no good. So it's as if Job is alone, really. You have shriveled me up, and it is a witness against me. My leanness rises up against me and bears witness to my face. He tears me in his wrath and hates me. He gnashes me at his teeth. My misery sharpens his gaze on me, and they gape at me with their mouth. They strike me reproachfully on the cheek, and they gather together against me. God has delivered me to the ungodly. Of course, what else do you expect Job to say? Because this, I would have thought they're, originally I thought maybe they're God-fearing, but the way they're approaching this suggests that they're not God-fearing, because one of the things God expects us to do is to support the people that are weak, people that are down, and they're not doing any of that here. So their activities here is not pleasing to God, I don't think. What do you think? Now, and turn me over to the hands of the wicked. I was at ease, but he shattered me. He also has taken me by my neck and shaken me to pieces, and he has set me up for his target. So Job is saying all of this now, saying the Lord has exposed him to the wolves, to the ungodly. This is grief talking. This is him talking, how deprived he feels, because he has no one. Carrying on in verse 13, he says, his archers surround me, he pierces my heart and does not pity, He pours out my gall on the ground, and he breaks me with wound upon wound. He runs at me like a warrior. I have sewn sackcloth over my skin and laid my head on the dust. My face is flushed from weeping, and on my eyelid is the shadow of death. Although no violence is in my hands, and my prayer is pure. O earth, do not cover my blood, and let my cry have no resting place. Even now, my witness is in heaven, and my evidence is on high. My friend scorns me. That's it. That's what they're doing. They're not being friends. They're not showing any friendship. They're not showing any understanding. They're not showing any sympathy, empathy, all of those things. They are out to get him. So his description in this chapter really suits them because of the way they have been acting. And he says in verse 26, 20, my friends scorn me, my eyes poured out tears unto God. Oh, that one might plead for a man with God, as a man pleads for his neighbor. Exactly. They're not being neighborly. They're not neighbors because they came from long distances. But, the idea of being neighborly is to be helpful, to be supportive of the people that I need. They're doing nothing of such. For when a few years have finished, I shall go the way of no return. So this is really, in this chapter, Job it's almost as if he's given up on them. On his friends. It does not have any expectation whatsoever to receive any kind of comfort from them. And from all that we have read so far, I think it's absolutely right that, from his expression, they've not given any kind of comfort to him. I'm just checking if I've got anything else written in my other Bible here. Yeah, there's nothing more. It's just Job lamenting, about how poorly his friends have treated him. I think this is a good lesson to say that we have learned from this chapter. When we have the opportunity to be neighborly, when we have the opportunity to stretch out a hand of friendship, a hand for comforting other people, I pray that the Lord will help us to be able to stand in that role and be a true friend to somebody that is truly in need. So if you're listening on the podcast, I hope you have benefited from this one, and please like and share with your friends and family so they can come to join us in these episodes as we're reading through the book of Job. So this episode we've read chapter 16. That means the next time we're going to be going on to chapter 17 of Job, and hope to see you next time. Bye.